Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is episode 30 of Saving Maverick. Today's episode will be all about fabricating the roving punch and the backing iron for installing the copper nails in the hull of Maverick. I just wanted to announce that my family and I will be at the Wooden Boat Show in Mystic, Connecticut on Saturday, June 29th of 2024. So if you're in the area and you like wooden boats, I mean obviously you like wooden boats if you're watching this, but I believe tickets are still available, so and I think it'll be a fun time. See all kinds of cool boats. It'll be the first time I've been there. Yeah, it'll be cool. I'm not going to have a booth or anything. I'll just be wandering around with the family, taking a look at everything. So if you see me there, feel free to stop me and say hi. But anyway, enjoy the episode. All right. Today up in here on Saving Maverick, we are going to be taking a piece of steel rod and a number 19 drill bit so that we can make a roving punch for our number 8 nails and number 8 roves. But first, I made this jerry-rig little stand for my El Piso de Crapo Harbor Freight drill press some time ago, and I never anchored it down. So what I have is rather exorbitantly long, old, crevice-corroded stainless lag bolts that were attaching something to the boat, and we're not going to be putting stainless fastenings back on this boat. So I'm going to use these lag bolts to bolt this down to its stand before we get started. Okay, now that that's done, get this little table around here, and we'll position our little vise here. So, as it is, this Harbor Freight drill press, they don't have proper vices for this model. As you can see, the vise is wider than the table, and also these bolt slots don't match up. So we have two pieces of this round bar stock. This is 1-inch stock, 3.5-inch cutoffs that I got from somewhere. Probably my last job at the factory if I had to guess. Probably came out of a scrap bin. But anyway, it's pretty much flush cut on that end, so we'll just flush that up with the table underneath the vise. Call that good enough. Alrighty. Get a dab of cutting fluid. As I was saying, if I had a lathe, I could just chuck this in a 3-jaw chuck, and then put a drill chuck in the tail stock. 3-jaw chuck would auto-index on the round bar stock, and then I could just turn it on and just run the tailstock in and drill the hole instead of having to do this crap. Anyway, I don't have a lathe. Maybe someday. So, I don't think I really need this as like a full countersink. I just want enough so that the tip of that rove can index properly inside of that punch. Because we do kind of want to compress the rove down when it gets to the bottom of its travel. And in case you guys don't know, I guess I will do a little demonstration. So say that's our plank, and this is our frame. Pre-drill the hole. Drive our nail down through there. Take this big steel plate here to act as a base. This is all very impromptu. Alright, so this is the inside of the frame right here. Right? So you have your roving punch. You put your rove down over the top of your nail. Center it on there. Smash that down on there. So I will use a hacksaw. Alright. Okay, so you only have like 1/8 of an inch of nub left. Voila! And you peen the end of that nail over to form a rivet, and you have a rock-solid joint between your plank and your frame. All right, so now that you have a demonstration of that, you can see that ain't going nowhere. That is wicked solid. All right, so now that we have this done, I am going to clean up the face of this with a mill file. All right, so I have flipped around my roving punch in the vise here, and I've done a little indexing mark for roughly the center. So now I'm going to drill a hole for 5/16 18 threads. Where's my Chucky? Where's Chucky? There's Chucky. Get it? Because it's a Chucky. I have 3 kids. I've earned the right to make dad jokes. We're going to go down about an inch. That should be more than sufficient. Whew. Hot. It's hot. I've got too many projects. Not enough organizational prowess. See, I use Tapmatic for the drill, and I use Tap Magic for tapping. Does it matter? I don't know. Maybe. Just give that a little bit of a countersink. Easier to get the tap started. The tap, which is here. Okay. So basically what I need is something about that size, but in grade 8, so it's nice and hard. Basically like that, so we can just get a good solid surface to impact. And the reason we want a harder surface to impact with the hammer is because this thing is only mild steel. So we don't need a harder surface down here because it's only interfacing with copper, which is way softer than this. But up here, you have a hard hammer face striking a soft tool face, and you're going to mushroom out the head of the tool, and eventually it'll just be crap. So you want that nice hard thing right there. I think that's a nice handy size. Yeah, there is a number 8 roving punch. All right. I was racking my brain thinking about what I'm going to use for a backing iron. And in case you guys don't know, a backing iron is a big heavy hunk of metal that sets up in the countersink against the head of the nail whilst the rove is being set and the back end of the rivet is being peened over. So, these being old-timey tools that are no longer sold, at least in normal channels of commerce, I have an item that will probably work very well for the whole handle apparatus. And that item is this. And what this was, or what it is a broken off railroad switch handle to switch the direction of a train track. I found this thing years ago when I was a teenager. We used to hang out by the MBTA commuter rail tracks and drink. And every now and again we'd, find odd artifacts off the side of the tracks in the woods. This is one of those artifacts. So this thing weighs probably 15 pounds. It's a big heavy hunk of cast iron. It's broken off where it was mounted to the switch assembly. So I'm thinking, okay, how can I use this as a backing iron? Well, I found this piece of old bar stock. So I'll cut a couple plates to fit in between these two ears. I'll probably just drill a flush hole up through these, run it through, and then the same size flush hole up through the bottommost plate. And on the top plate, I will have corresponding holes drilled and tapped so I can run bolts up through here, anchoring this in place. Then, in the very center of that, I will drill and tap a 3/8 inch hole, or whatever the hole diameter is for a 3/8 inch tap. And since the countersinks for the new nails are going to be 3/8 inch by, so 3/8 wide, 3/8 deep, I'm just going to take 3/8 grade 8 steel fastener, so the hardest grade you can get. I'm going to cut it off, and I'm going to screw that down in there. So then that way, so it'll be this, and it'll have the stud sticking out there, and that can be held up in that countersink hole, sunk hole, securely anchoring against that nail head, while the rove is set on the other side, and the end of the nail is peened and riveted over. Now as well too, if I want more weight on this, it has these hollow cavities on either side. So I can clean all the paint out of the inside of there, melt up some lead, and I can use the lead that came from the scupper drains, and then pour lead down in here on each side and give it another few pounds of weight. And then I'll probably just wrap the whole thing in grip tape, and then I will have my bucking iron or backing iron or whatever you want to call it. So that's the plan. So 3/4. All right, so the depth of this is 3/4, so we're going to split that difference. All right, so it's 3/8 because this dimension's 3/4. We're going to bisect that exactly. This is 1 1/4 inches, so half of that is 5/8. So there's where we're drilling the holes. It's really close enough. This doesn't have to be perfect. This is a center drill. All right, we're gonna countersink these too for the. I am sick of getting stuff in my eyes, so I got proper goggles. All right, so this little guy just puts like a pilot hole in it. All right, you guys missed that whole thing because my dumbass forgot to press record. So I drilled these out and I countersunk these. And now I'm just marking out in this where I have to drill the 1/4 hole. All right, so this is cast iron, so this is going to be interesting to drill through. I've drilled through cast iron that's really soft, and I've heard that there is some that is not really soft, and is, in fact, not soft at all. All right, let's see. Yeah, I think this is going to work good because these are really tight because, you know, it's all slightly misaligned. But it doesn't matter. I'm just going to make a... Alright, so I'm going to do pilot drill, 5/16 drill, and a 3/8 16 tap. And then the last thing to do will be to cut the head off this 3/16 bolt to make our setting anvil. Bore down 1 inch. I'll measure that out when I wish I had a milling machine and a lathe and a whole machine shop. Machine shops are awesome. Killed my pilot drill. I love breaking drill bits off inside of things. Made the jaws and these smaller. There it is. It pays to have cheapo like Harbor Freight tools around that you can modify if need be. All right, let's cut the head of this bolt off. All right, there's the backing iron. I think it still is a little bit light, so maybe I'll get the lead pot hooked up and we'll pour some lead in these recesses. All right, this is our lead melting pot. Here's our tool. We've got a MAP gas torch to heat up the tool before we pour the lead. Remember this stuff? This is all that scrap lead from the scupper drains. All right, we got a few pieces in there. We'll let that cook for a little while and see what happens. All right, let's give this a try. There we go. This thing's cool to the touch now. Let's get her painted up. Okay. Oh yeah, it still works. All right, let that puppy dry, and then I'll just leave it out overnight and bring it inside tomorrow before work. Then we'll wrap her up in tarred tape. It's Monday after work. Let's finish up this thing. Let's wrap it up. It's like some sort of weird bludgeoning instrument. But nice and heavy. It's got the anvil point on it, so you can just hold it right up against the nail. And tunk, 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 tunk. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. It certainly has been a good bit of fabrication work that we've had to go through to custom make these tools. But as I said before, these are no longer available in the average channels of commerce. You could scour antique stores and eBay and come up with something, but the likelihood of having a roving punch specific to 8-penny copper nails and a backing iron for said nails is very slim. I had to exercise a little bit of ingenuity to get this done, and materials that were pretty much scrap. I had an old railroad switch handle. I had old steel bar stock that was scrap that was free to me. These quarter 20 bolts here were from the boat. The lead that I filled it with was from the boat. The tar tape was something I had laying around, and this bolt I also had just had laying around. And also the spray paint was something I just had laying around. So for these two tools, the only thing that I had to buy was that bolt as an impact face for the hammer, and that was like $2. So functional tools that'll last a lifetime for an expenditure of no more than a couple bucks. I'd say that's a great deal, and instead of taking a gamble on something that could be not what I need, I got exactly what I need, and it'll be great. Looking forward to getting started with reattaching the planks to the new frame. On that note, so from Fair Wind Fasteners, is where I got the nails and the roves, as well as 5/16 18 bolts with nuts and other hardware. From McMaster Carr, I got 832 threaded rod with nuts and washers so I can join the frames temporarily to the old planks that are up top that are too rotten to keep, just so they stay in position. These bolts will be used to join together the stanchions and the frames to the stringer and all of that. The only other tool that I bought that I needed for the nailing and roving is this set of end nipper pliers. So another tool that I bought was two extended number 20 drill bits. So these number 20 drill bits are 0.161 inch in diameter, which is the exact same diameter as my copper nails. So the drill bit that I had, you can see, is way too small to get through those 1 1/4 planks, as well as the 1 3/4 frames. So I had to buy extended drill bits. Got them from McMaster Carr, same place I got the 832 rods and nuts. So I got 2 of these, and you can see the entire old drill bit is the same length as the drilling section of the new one. So this will punch right through there, do everything I need it to. Anyway, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. Towards the end of the video, there should be a link on the screen, my channel logo. You can click that, or you can click the subscribe button down below. If you'd like to be notified every time I upload new content, go ahead and click that bell next to it. Please do like the video if you like it. If you don't like it, well, then don't like it. And put a comment down below with, advice, criticism, or just to say good job, or just to comment for the algorithm. Because the more comments I get, the more likes I get, the more engagement from you guys I get, the better the channel does. The better the channel does, the more people see it, the more good things happen for all of this. So anyway, if you would like to support the channel monetarily and get more involved and in the future get bonus content that will not be seen on YouTube, go ahead and follow that link to the Patreon page down below. And on that note, many thanks to Mike Miller for subscribing over on Patreon. Thanks, Mike. Much appreciated. Anyway, guys, next week we're going to have more woodworking content. We're going to be repairing the starboard stringer, doing a lot more epoxy work with that and with other things. And yeah, stick around and stay tuned till next week. And until then, thanks for watching Saving Maverick. My name's Matt, and I will see you next week. Bye.